Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge.
All I got is bourbon.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Hey, we're back at it with what some might say is honestly the hottest whiskey brand in the U.S. or at least the hottest NDP, non-distilling producer in the U.S. This is, honestly, a lot of people, not only in my community are talking about it, but a lot of my whiskey friends across the U.S., various communities, are talking about none other than Appellation Barrel Company. I call them ABC. So first and foremost, I have to give a huge shout out to my good friend Brandon, one of my patrons, one of my buddies. Brandon, who is by far just hilarious. Brandon he really should be the marketing VP of Appellation Barrel Company, because he is a huge fan of Appellation Barrel Company. So he was the one that put me onto ABC, as well as everyone in my Discord group. I mean, Brandon has shared samples, which I have some here. I have this bottle I got from Mrs. Judge, which is also fantastic. I'm telling you, folks, this might be the hottest NDP in 2026 by far in the whiskey industry. Yes, it is. So if you think back to my last episode, I called it, the 5 brands that are worth the hype. I'm telling you, this brand, Appellation Barrel Company, is definitely worth the hype. So I have my own bottle here that Mrs. Judge got for me as a present. I have this one here. I've had numerous other samples from Brandon, from a few other friends as well. Everything that I've had from ABC is literally, I'm telling you, amazing. And I don't mean like good, like so-so, I reach for it here and there. I mean fantastic. That says a lot about a brand. All right, so what do we know, Judge, about Appellation Barrel Company, aka ABC? So what do we know? So it's started by 2 brothers, Jesse and Jade, along with their partner, Dr. Heath Brashear. So the 3 of them, born and raised in Kentucky, obviously very close ties to the whiskey community, very close ties to obviously various different distilleries, and then of course, obviously really good ties to barrel brokers, or companies that actually sell their whiskey, and brokers and so forth. So this company itself, I'm telling you, in the last, I would say like 12 to 18 months, they've been making a splash, but specifically in the last year alone, they are absolutely growing as it relates to people enjoying their whiskey. So I'll also say, one thing that's unique about NDPs is when you think about an NDP, a non-distilling producer, anybody can be an NDP. As long as you have cash, anybody can work with a barrel broker, buy whiskey, throw your own label on it, and get it out on stores or online. Anybody can do that. It takes another level to be able to source premium, like top of the line whiskey, age it, blend it sometimes, and or just cherry pick very good single barrels. That is a whole nother level. So obviously Appellation Barrel Company is doing something right. Yes, they are. All right. So what do we know about them other than the fact that they're from Kentucky, very close ties to the whiskey industry as well? The one thing I like about ABC is the fact that they have access to, I would refer to it as like premium barrels. Most large distilleries produce these one-off mash bills, things that are, still fantastic, but they'll never put it out under their own sub-brand. They sell it as a source of revenue. So literally, they will, distill it, age it, and then they sell it to a whiskey brand like Appellation Barrel Company. It's a pure revenue play, which is actually quite smart if you think about it from a business standpoint. It works for like Wild Turkey, it works for Jim Beam, and it works for great NDPs like Appellation Barrel Company, because they have access to some of these very like one-off premium barrels that are coming from like big brands. The other cool thing about ABC, what makes them a little bit different than other NDPs, is the fact that they are not getting their whiskey from MGP. I know most people will say, oh, it has to be MGP juice. It is not. They are purely sourcing only Kentucky bourbon and Kentucky ryes. So truly just Kentucky sourced whiskey and only Kentucky. No MGP, no Dickel, and no other state. Fair? All right. Man, I have all this good whiskey in front of me. I've already had this one before. I'm going to dive into some of these samples that my good friend Brandon sent me. I'm really, really interested in these. So the last thing I'll say about ABC is the fact that you can find them in some stores in Kentucky, as well as online. If you go directly to their website, you can buy some of their products there, but they have a huge presence in like various different, like, you know, social media groups, like either whiskey tubers or different like Facebook groups. So there's a lot of different single barrels that come out from those various different groups. All right, we're going to dive into, so Brandon was kind enough, I have my bottle, which I love, but Brandon was kind enough to send me 1 bourbon, a Kentucky bourbon, and 3 ryes. And we're going to start with the bourbon because it's actually the lowest proof. It's a 10-year, 110.76 proof bourbon. This is a Kentucky bourbon. Obviously, everything's Kentucky. It's called Mountain Mamba. Yes, Mountain Mamba. All right, let's dive into this one, boy. I've been ready for these samples. Here we go. Cheers to Appalachian Barrel Company, Jade, Jesse, and Dr. Brashear. Great job so far, gentlemen. Cheers. Ooh, the nose on this is nice. I do have to break down the mash bill. 75 corn, 13 rye, 12 malted barley. Ooh, this is really nice. Some brown sugar, some fruit. Good influence of oak. Not bad. All right, here we go. Cheers to ABC, and again, cheers to my buddy Brandon. Thanks for the samples. Damn! Wow. 10 years? 110 proof. Wow, that is fantastic. Shit. Oh my gosh. All right, I gotta get another sip. Hold on. That's really good. That's very, very good. Let's be clear. Wow. That's amazing. Woo! Okay. Well, great start. That is pretty damn good. So Brandon, you were right. These samples so far are amazing. All right, so we're going to go through the next 3 real quick, just to kind of give everyone a good idea about ABC. I want to make sure, are all these single barrels truly living up to the hype? I've had like at least 5 or 6. They've all been amazing. I got 4 more here. All right. So the last 3 are all ryes. Range anywhere from 129 to 132 proof. So here we go. All right, so the next one is a rye. So this is a rye whiskey. It's called Rye Soofly. Pretty cool. I like the name, Rye Soofly. A 7-year, 129.69 proof. Damn, that's some fire. All right, here we go. Let's get into this one real quick. Ooh. So it's a rye. What I like about it, it's a great influence of like a traditional rye, like a peppery mint, but with a great influence of like, actually a good influence, I should say, of like chocolate, softer brown sugar, and like almost like a smidge of like apple, if you will. Wow, not bad at all. All right, here we go. Cheers again to Appalachian Barrel Company. Oh man, that was sneaky. The mid end of the palate, I had a little bit of chocolate in the nose. It disappeared in the mid end of the palate. The middle end of the palate was a ton more apple, a lot more honey, and a good influence of like brown sugar. That was very sneaky. Rye Soofly. That was sneaky. I did not expect to get that much like honey, apple, and brown sugar as I did. That was very sneaky. All right, another. Goodness gracious. All right, before I get to the last 2, real quick, 3 quick easy favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. Let me know if you tried Appalachian Barrel Company, the hottest whiskey brand in 2026. If so, what are your thoughts? Last but not least, please make sure you all subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get a notification each and every time I release new content. Cool? All right. All right, we're going to move along. Sticking with the rye. I know Brandon loves his ryes, which is cool. This is a rye whiskey as well. This is a 7-year-old called Gobble, Flock, and Rye. All right, a 7-year-old called Gobble, Flock, and Rye. 132.16 proof. All right, let's get into this one real quick. Ooh my gosh, the nose on this is amazing. Jeez. The nose on this does not smell like a rye at all. If I honestly nosed this blind, I would have thought this was a bourbon. Truly. Wow. That's impressive. Jeez. Oh my goodness. The nose is so good I don't want to sip it. All right, I gotta get a sip. The nose on this is fantastic. It's better than the last two by far. I mean, these two are fantastic, but the nose on this one is like insane. Tons, and I mean tons for a rye. This is all caramel, brown sugar, and honey. This is weird, actually, because you don't think of a rye being so like overly sweet in the nose. Normally, they're more peppery, minty, and so forth. This is tons of like caramel. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is an amazing nose. Hopefully the palate matches the nose. Cheers. Hell yeah. That is fantastic. I thought, I'm gonna put these in order. I mean, they're so far, these are 3 for 3. This oh, give me a second. Goodness gracious, this is good. Shit, this is good. This is a rye? Damn. Gobble, flock, and rye. That is fantastic. It does not taste like a rye at all. The last one, equally fantastic in its own way, but you knew it was a rye. This one, this Gobble, flock, and rye, to me tastes purely like a bourbon. It had so much caramel in the nose as well as brown sugar and some honey, and that did not disappear. That equally matched the palate. So it was in the nose and it matched the palate. That is fantastic. Damn. Oh my gosh. All right, we're at the end of the road here. I feel like we are literally like climbing, going up. It's gonna be very hard for this last one to beat the Gobble, flock, and rye, because that was just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, the last one, almost 7 years, 6 years, 9 months. Again, a rye whiskey, slightly higher proof, 132.82, and this is called Bad Moon Rising. Bad Moon Rising. All right, here we go. Oh boy, goodness gracious. Ooh, this is nice. This kind of, from a nose standpoint, is a combination of these two in a way. It, at the core, it's definitely very like minty and smidge of like floral, not a ton, but it has a good influence though of like caramel, some brown sugar, a little bit of honey, smidge of apple, but not a ton though. Very much so. Wow, it's actually truly like a combination of the last two raws. All right, here we go. Cheers again to ABC, Jade, Jesse, and Dr. Brashear. You guys doing some damn good things out there in Kentucky. I love it, ABC. That's good. Jeez. That is fantastic. And I mean fantastic. Wow, I gotta finish this. This is just ridiculously good. Wow. Folks, I don't do this often. You guys know the channel, right? I'm very fair when it comes to my whiskey reviews. If I like something, I like it. If I love it, I love it. And if I dislike it, I dislike it. I'm giving Appalachian Barrel Company the very notable. They are 3 gavels good. Straight fire. All 4 of these, by far, are buys. In addition to this barrel pick I got from Liquor Barn, from Mrs. Judge got for me. All 4 of these, by far, are absolutely amazing. And I mean amazing. They're all buys. If I had to rank them, I would put this Gobble, Flock, and Rye. This is insane. This is like another level. That would be in first place. I would probably go the Bad Moon Rising. Bad Moon Rising in second place. If I'm gonna rank these, the Kentucky Bourbon, the Mountain Mamba, I would give that third place. And then fourth place, again, these are all fantastic, by the way, right? They're all buys at the end of the day. Fourth place would be the Rye Soofly. But again, ABC has nothing but grand slams. Shout out to Appalachian Barrel Company. If you see it on the shelf, you see it online, you probably should grab it. Their whiskey is fantastic. All right, my friends, as I say in this courtroom, peace, cheers, most important, salute. Take care. See you guys.